Hey guys, I'm Lyndon Forrester with Heal Live Thrive Community, and today we're bringing on Cathy Merkel-Roddy, who's going to be presenting at the Soul to Soul Summit. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. This is going to be great, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to be supporting our Core 4 campaign and our partnership with the Patron project with this summit, which is we're supplying, critical needs for our healing warriors, like supplements, life-changing supplements, and foods, healthy food, and emergency needs. So it's going to be a great cause, guys. Come by, register at the link in our bio. If you can, donate, but if you can't, just show up. We want everybody to be there, and there's going to be so much value that we're bringing. It's amazing. Lots of people are registering. We're bringing on Cathy right now. Cathy, where are you? Said accept. There we go. Cathy,
Yay!
hey.
Hi. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties getting this set up. I wasn't sure how to do it, so I was like looking on your page, and then I went back to my messages, and you were already there, going, "Okay, I'm ready." And I was like, "Sorry."
No worries. We're here. We made it.
We did! Yay!
So what's good for you today?
Oh my gosh. Well, being here with you, cheers to that. I got my Powered by Celery Juice shirt on, so
I love that. I've got lemon honey water here.
delish. Mine's just plain lemon water. But yeah, it's funny because here in Florida, if I don't drink it right away, the honey makes it get a little funky after a minute. Like is it's like it gets warm and then it somehow turns quickly.
Oh, it
So
ferments.
yeah, kinda, yeah. And so I don't put honey in my water unless I know I'm gonna gulp it down really quick. You know how that goes.
Yeah, you don't want mead.
Yep, exactly.
And I know they talk about the healing powers of mead, but that's because people don't know about the healing powers of honey lemon water.
Yep, exactly. I don't know about mead.
Yeah, it's wine made from honey. I'm
Gotcha. Well,
sure that there's probably some tiny benefit that survives the alcohol process, but the fermentation, but it's going to be pretty weak in compared to the fresh
yep.
stuff.
Oh, yeah, this is much better.
Yeah. So I'm so excited to have you with us today. You're going to be presenting at the Soul to Soul Summit. Thank you so much for coming on for
Oh,
this
my pleasure.
interview and for being a part of the community here.
I'm honored to do it. Honestly, you guys are doing such great work, and I just feel like my little contribution is minuscule compared to the mountain of work it takes for you guys to put this on and what you're going to do with the donations and stuff afterwards. So hey, it's the least I can do, honestly.
Fantastic. Well, for those that don't know you, Cathy, um, where did it all start for you? How did you find the information to begin to transform your health and your well-being?
It started back in 2018 for me. So I was on my knees, basically. I had overnight developed about over 30 neurological symptoms, including a rare voice disorder called spasmodic dysphonia, where I could not speak above a whisper. And I had spasms going down from my right eye down to my hip, couldn't sleep, I was sensitive to light, sound, and temperature. I had chronic crushing fatigue. I had heart palpitations. I should have pulled up my list because there's like a very, very long list of symptoms. But anyway, so I was at a loss because obviously, the doctors were offering me very little hope and very little like treatments that were actually going to do something to move the needle, including the voice thing. They just wanted to use like Botox injections and that sort of thing to manage the spasms that were happening in my throat. And it just did not resonate with me. I've always had sort of a natural approach to life, even though I was misdirected. You know what I mean? But I've always thought that kind of stuff out. So I really didn't spend too much time dabbling in the Western medical, allopathic medicine world when my health went over a cliff, because because all the symptoms came on together. I knew that there was something systematic going on, and there was a way for me to heal everything altogether too. So, luckily, I found medical medium information pretty quickly. About 4 months into my journey, I had a very dear friend send me a podcast, or his old radio show, on celery juice and the power of celery juice. And so I listened to this radio show, and I was just like, I was hooked, because he talks so much about Epstein-Barr virus. And I knew I had gotten mono back when I was like 12 years old. And it was such a debilitating experience for me. Literally, my life was never the same after having it. I was crushed with fatigue for months after getting it, and recovering from mono. I also was left with some symptoms on the aftermath of that, which was brain fog and trouble sleeping, insomnia. When I would get run down, then for the rest of my life, I had these things that would kind of surge for me. And so when he talked about Epstein-Barr virus, I knew, oh my gosh, yes, I know I have this in my body. And so it just made sense to me. So then, of course, went down the rabbit hole. The one thing that I would say that I made the mistake of, well, many mistakes probably, but one distinct mistake was going too quickly. And, I found the information, and, I'm that type A kind of personality, overachiever, perfectionist kind of person, which I bet you there's a lot of people on this call that can relate to that. I feel like, developing some kinds of symptoms can be correlated to those kind of tendencies with us, because we drive ourselves too hard, we push our adrenal glands, we have a lot of those things in common. Anyway, so I went too hard, went from, like, I had been doing a keto diet for like a year and a half as my health was descending little by little, until like a traumatic event happened in our family, pushed me over the edge in a hardcore way. No longer could even speak normally. So anyway, so that was sort of the beginning to my journey. And I jumped right in. About 6 weeks into my journey, I jumped on my first cleanse. You did a cleanse every month. And that was back when I just had the liver rescue book. So it was the original 369 cleanse that I was doing. And so I did about 5 of those. And then finally, because I thought I was going to heal myself after one cleanse. I had this like delusions of grandeur that, it was going to take like one time and I'm going to do it and that's going to be great. Well, I suffered through these cleanses terribly, because my body was nowhere near ready to process out all those toxins. So basically, I was just kicking up a bunch of toxins without processing them out, and stirring up a hornet's nest. Basically, my neurological symptoms just got worse and were just like aggravated by all of that. So did not know what I was doing, and but had the sense to kind of just like go into a holding pattern. I did not abandon the medical medium protocols. Luckily, I just knew I needed to take my foot off the gas and just like chill for a minute and not go quite so hard. About a year in, I finally sought some help from a practitioner, because I was stubborn. I was like, oh, I can do this on my own, and I don't need help. It's all in the book. I don't need any help. What I didn't realize is that there's some nuances, and also I was very neurologically sensitive, because I had all of those neurological symptoms. What I didn't realize is that when you're so toxic and you have so many symptoms, that you need to go slower, not more aggressively. And so figured all of that out, and then of course realized about it at that same time that I had not addressed any of the emotional or um, mindset stuff for continuing on this journey. I mean, I had enough of the tools to stay the course, which was great. See, that's the thing that I always worry about when I'm introduced to new people that I'm working with or trying to help people. I've been on a mission to help people with this, with this voice disorder. That's been a lot of my focus because it was just debilitating for me and it was so painful. It affected every single part of my life and isolated me further. We're already kind of isolated when we're fatigued and we're also having to follow these new protocols that we don't know what we're doing yet. And we can have to kind of like go into our own little healing cave sometimes. But then also I couldn't even talk on the phone. Like I couldn't, like it exhausted me so much to be able to do that. So I realized I needed to address some of the ways I was thinking about the world, and I had kind of gotten a very jaded, kind of fearful approach. In addition, my brain, how AW talks about getting low grade brain damage in your brain when you experience a trauma and it burns out, singes those neurons. And so I wholeheartedly know I did that. I had that problem. So that was keeping me in a fear loop and keeping my adrenal glands going, going, going. And I realized that I needed to come at this from other directions as well as stay the medical medium course. And I needed to kind of figure out how to manage my own worst enemy, which was my thoughts, my brain that was going nuts and telling me all of the catastrophizing every situation and all the worst case scenarios, gaming all of the worst outcomes all the time, and constantly looking at that from that angle instead of God and the universe have our back. We are worthy of love no matter what. And our body knows how to heal and is always striving to do that. Those three principles were the things that I came back to time and time again whenever I noticed that I was going down the fear loop, going down the emotional roller coaster ride that was so detrimental to the healing in a way that because of the adrenaline. We all know that adrenaline is such a toxic substance. It's worse than any of the troublemaker foods. It's worse than, almost anything else. It's that adrenaline in our own bodies. So we have to learn to manage that first and foremost so that then the body can take over, and then all of those wonderful fruits and vegetables that we're eating and the minerals and the glucose and all of the things that we need can be utilized properly, because when we're in fight or flight, nothing happens in a way that is efficient. It's our body is diverting a lot of that energy to just fighting or fleeing at that time, instead of digesting and processing the nutrients and et cetera, et cetera. So rewiring the brain for that calm nervous system, learning to get out of the fear loop, because I noticed that Eileen and Amy brought up the fact that fear stands between our brain and our soul, and that when we are in that fear loop, that just keeps us kind of stuck. So learning to kind of not only do all of the wonderful tools that Anthony William teaches us, which are of course the meditations, which can help us calm down. Just his words are so soothing, just knowing that they are from the divine, and knowing that this information is so pure, it builds that trust right away just in that. But we also have to take some steps on our own to build that trust within ourselves, with ourselves. When our bodies are going haywire, our symptoms are out of control, sometimes it's easy to start looking at our bodies as the enemy, or looking at it as betraying us instead of fighting for us. And also that it's just, the symptoms are a signal. The symptoms are just telling us that something is awry. So if we can look at it as communication instead of something to be so fearful of, and that, of course, keeping in mind always it's temporary, that it's just a storm we're going through. Like AW says, all storms pass. So recognizing it's just temporary, is also very important to the mindset portion and as you're rewiring your brain. I feel like I just like talk nonstop for 10 minutes. As you-
Well, it's all gold.
well,
So
thank you.
yeah, so that's okay. And I can see that you're passionate about helping other people and delivering this message and using your experience, that soul's gold that transforms and helps others in a powerful way. So don't worry, we're good. But we have a really good background now of like your story. You went through um, you you rushed into it, and then there was a family crisis involved. That's kind of what really pushed you further into it, it sounds like. And then you learned to kind of slow down, and then you were also working through like the fear and the mindset stuff, and that's like getting deeper and getting unstuck, really taking your movement in your life forward. So there's just so much value there, and so people can go back and listen if it you know if you didn't catch all that.
You're right.
But so that's fantastic. Now, is there um some, like how what like the benefits, like what have you noticed about your life now versus when things were at their worst? Like, what do you notice?
Oh, night and day difference. So now, first of all, my life is fantastic. I am so grateful. My voice obviously is back, and I was a former singer for years and years. For that's how I earned a living before I got sick. So back to doing some of that, and in addition, getting to help other people on their healing journey has been amazing. It's funny though, I use different metrics to measure my life now than I used to. And now, honestly, when I'm looking at my day and I say to myself, how was today? Let's evaluate it. Let's just look at it from a, pros and cons kind of way. My biggest criteria that I use now is how calm did my nervous system stay? How in my body was I able to stay? Because that's the thing. You almost have this out of body experience when you're in fight or flight. It feels like you're not fully embodied in your body. And AW talks about that too. It's a protection mechanism for your soul so that if there is a traumatic thing that happens, that you're not so damaged by that trauma that it's like a way of protecting. But on a daily basis, when things are just fine and you don't really need to be in fight or flight, but you can't seem to break out of it, just staying embodied and calm and proceeding through the day in a joyful, peaceful manner. Am I flowing through my day, or am I trying to force it, or am I trying to, am I slipping back into a fear mode? That these are the things that now become the paramount things for me to use as criteria instead of, back, gosh, when I first started my healing journey, I would rate my symptoms every day. I wrote them all down. I would rank them from a scale of 1 to 10, how they were. I would, also rate myself on how many of my protocols did I squeeze in? Because my perfectionist persona was really strong, excuse me, in the beginning of my journey. So I got into a little bit of a fear mode with trying to squeeze it all in, not fearing that I wasn't doing enough at any given time. So learning that I am enough, that all I can do is all I can do, and all I can do is enough, and getting into that mode where I'm using the joy and the peace and the calm that I'm feeling every day as the metric for my, the how I measure my day.
Nice. That's a completely different metric. It makes me think, because I often think when people want they want to have like this number, this confirmation. They like people love their lab tests. I'm like, but what does that measure about your actual experience in life? There's so many people that are getting these lab tests. They get their results, they walk away from the doctor, and months later, they're just still not better. They're still their life is getting worse. Their symptoms are getting worse. Their health is getting worse. Everything's getting worse. Their relationships are more challenged. But what about measuring like the moments of joy, the positive conversations that we have in a day? What about like, um, our emotions and just like that experience throughout our entire day? Like, can your iron levels ever really reflect that? Because
Right,
because like you said, fear is the most harmful thing for our body, right? So
right.
if we're living in fear, we know that there's harm. And if we're living in relaxation and peace and those joyful moments, we know that that is a much healthier state. We're healing in that state. We're doing much more. Like our body is always healing, but it's doing so much more for it when you can get out of those fear loops and when you can get your mind in the right direction. So, yeah.
100%. Absolutely. I'm sorry. Can you hear my cat? She just came into the room and she's just like, she loved every time I try and do a video or I'm on a call or something, she comes in and she pipes in. She wants to join in. So
She's
sorry
got a
about that.
so it's kind of she's okay. I understand Kat, so she's got a message for us.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. Bless her heart. She's got some neurological issues too. She's one of those wobbly cats. So it's, I think she was sent to me for a reason. I got to figure that out for her.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, I like that you're taking care of her, and she's in the right hands. She's in the
Yeah.
right paws.
I'm like, girl, you and I are soul sisters.
Yeah. Um, so the next thing I want to talk about is just can you tell us a little bit, give us a little overview about what you're going to be presenting at the summit? Who will be interested in that? What's it for? I mean, I'm sure from your story we can glean some things, but what do
Sure,
you got?
sure. Well, it's for anybody who wants to expedite their healing because oftentimes we can get stuck in some of our fear loops and some of our patterns and not realize that we are kind of stuck there. And so this is going to be a way to think about how you think about yourself in a different way. We're going to learn to address who we think we are. We're going to address our beliefs about ourselves and about other people in our lives. We're going to learn to reroute that filter on the brain called the reticular activating system, which is our filter that tells us what to notice and what to think about. We're going to learn to shift that in a more like glass half full, like lens versus the glass half empty and the fear. Oftentimes our survival brain is what's controlling that filter. And so it's telling us to notice the things that didn't go right instead of the things that do go right. We're just going to, start cracking open some of those things and also work on raising our energetic vibe because we are all made of energy at the end of the day. And the thing that drives our energetic frequency is our emotional state. So, and then the thing that drives our emotional state is our thoughts. So it's kind of this chain reaction that happens. And what we're going to do is we're going to backtrack to the origins. We're going to go back to the beginning of the basic question: who am I? Who do I think I am? What are my identities? And sometimes I know for myself, I got caught in a chronic illness kind of identity for a period of time. I really had to break free from that in order to really embrace the trust and I want to say, relaxed nervous system around the idea that I was going to heal. So sometimes when we're in, again, the word chronic illness puts us immediately into, it's triggering, right? Just hearing that term can trigger us into that feeling of being hopeless or feeling stuck. And so, thinking of ourselves as our true selves, we are beautiful creations of God, worthy of love that I mentioned before. We don't have to prove it to anyone because honestly, again, when we're debilitated, we can't slip into our old personas of the type A, the overachiever, or the perfectionist. We can only do so much when we're on Mattress Island or whatever. We have to still recognize that those other personas really weren't who we were. They weren't our true essence and truly who we are. And therefore, we need to let those rules that go with those personas, the beliefs surrounding those personas, we need to address them and elevate them. We need to, if you were the type of person that felt like laying in bed all day, you were unproductive, or you're not worthwhile because you're not contributing in a certain way, I'm here to tell you that the highest calling that you have is to heal yourself. It is not selfish. It is not unproductive. It is honestly the highest calling that you have, because once you're healed, then watch you go. You're unlimited into what you can accomplish. So these are the types of things that we're going to delve deep into so that we can begin developing some new neural pathways. The beautiful thing about our brain is that it's moldable and changeable, and we can change the way we are anytime we decide we want to change. And I'm sure most of us have proven that by changing the way we eat. I mean, I never thought that I could stick with the eating program that I've been doing now for the past 6.5 years. If you would ask me 20 years ago, I would be like, oh, I don't think so. I don't think I could do it. But I proved to myself that I can do it. And then I've proven to myself that I can do almost anything I put my mind to. Honestly, I shouldn't put almost in there. I can do anything I set my mind to, and so can you, and so can everybody else. It's just a matter of creating the belief, because whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you are right.
Hmm. Well put. Whether you
That's a
can
Henry
or you
Ford
can't.
quote. I didn't come up with that. I
Yeah.
borrowed it from Henry Ford.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, great. Yeah, he apparently did something worthwhile.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, we're all driving cars, so anyway, a lot
Right.
of Ford. In fact, that yeah. So okay, I want to say now, are you offering a free gift at the summit, or what? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yep. So my free gift is the roadmap to rewiring. And it's a mini workbook that you can work through to start addressing some of these identities, beliefs, rules that you've been living your life by. And, by writing them out and learning to modify them just ever so slightly through the lens, as if we had our God goggles on. If we're looking down upon ourselves as God sees us, we would elevate like I talked about, you're worthy of love no matter what. So that belief of, oh, I'm not as good. I have like a less than feeling about myself because I didn't get up and do anything. I'm not able to do anything but make my celery juice and my smoothie today. That's all I can accomplish. Then you still have this ability to see yourself as a healing warrior, number one. I think it's so important to start seeing yourself as an unstoppable healing warrior instead of someone who is afflicted with a condition of some sort or some sort of chronic illness kind of identity. Because honestly, I know it. And even if you're still in that stage where you can't do very much, when you're in the beginning stages, it does not matter because you're doing the highest calling possible, which is to heal yourself. And then you will show others how to do it too. But this roadmap to rewiring will help people get start to shift those things in their brain and do a little self reflection on that.
Beautiful. official Hafsa.a says, really needed to hear this today.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that makes my day.
Yeah. Identity. You brought up a lot of interesting things, and then identity, and that's something that I think about a lot. And it's almost like we're born, and then as soon as we start developing identity, there's an identity that's kind of being thrown on us, and it's not like we're asking for it, but it's just society and all of the momentum of the past generations and culture and so many different influences are just saying, this is who you are, this is who you are, this is who you are.
Yep.
But that
Most
is not who we are.
Correct. Most of our beliefs are actually inherited from other people. We don't even realize it. We just, our parent, we get them from our parents or from our teachers at school or from our, if we're in a certain religion or, have certain dogma that we follow like that, we take on these beliefs. We're not even like conscious that we get them from those other people. But through this process of rewiring, we have to start evaluating. And it's a process because you will not believe you have beliefs about everything. You have rules about everything, whether you know it or not. I used to have like this like rule for myself when before I got super sick, when I was still trying to push through my adrenal fatigue and trying to, muddle through life. I would make myself have this long to-do list before I was allowed to nurture myself or take time to do something frivolous or whatever. That was my rule about that because I guess my identity was that I, was an overachiever and I needed to have a long list of accomplishments every day to prove my worth. And then I had the belief that, oh, less accomplishments, less worth. So I was driven by that and realized that I needed to love myself more. You know what I mean? Through like when I need to sit down, that's when I need the most love and nurturing from myself, not the beratement or those thoughts, those droning thoughts, as I like to call them, that are beating me up inside my own head.
Indeed. Yeah. So, okay, Kathy, as we're wrapping up here, is there any other things that you want to leave the audience with today? Any seeds you wish to plant before, um, before we wrap it up?
Well, first, those three things I come back to time and time again. You are worthy of love no matter what. You are an amazing creation of God. We all have different gifts. We're not all the same, but I trust me, you have gifts. And so celebrating those and recognizing that you are no worse than anyone else just because you have pathogens in your body or you have heavy metals in your brain. Okay, you got exposed, maybe someone else didn't, and that doesn't make you less than. So getting into those unworthy feelings is really where it all stemmed for me. And so you are worthy. Number two, your body knows how to heal and is always striving to do it. Anthony William talks about our body loving us unconditionally. It's true. So let's celebrate it. Let's appreciate it and thank it for the things that it's doing right. Are you breathing? Is your heart beating? Are you having, a moment where your symptoms are a little less right now? Those are all things to be celebrated. You're digesting your food, your whatever that your body does for you when you're not even telling it to. It's automatically doing it. And then third, of course, God and the universe have your back. You are here for a reason. I do not believe that there's any sort of thing that is a chance. We are shown things like this summit is like your sign to evolve and start rising even higher. No matter where you are in your journey, we can all continue to grow. And that's why we're here on Earth. We're in Earth school to learn and grow and become. And you guys are doing it in, you know, exponentially with the additional challenges that physical symptoms bring. You are rising above in such a way that you're going to be so miraculous at the end of this journey, that you're going to shine so brightly you're not even going to have any way of predicting how brightly you'll be shining.
That sounds fantastic. People are really going to appreciate this message. I mean, I can already see it in the chat. Garawanzi says, we're worthy of love, so no matter what. These are beautiful messages and things that we can all get deeper in and take into our heart as we're on this journey on crazy planet stress.
So true.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the summit with your presentation, Cathy. It's been a pleasure to interview you today. Let us know how can somebody reach out to you if they want more of that goodness that you're sharing.
Of course, of course. So my handle on IG is Revealing the Healing. And, you know, you can always shoot me a DM there. On Facebook, I'm just Cathy Merkel-Roddy. And my email is Cathy Merkel-Roddy, no hyphen, at gmail.com. So that's an easy way to always reach out. Yeah, any of those things are perfect.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you again. Thanks, everybody. Register at the link in our bio for the Soul to Soul Summit. It's coming up September 9th through the 17th. Do you know the day in which you're presenting?
Yes, so the September 15th, and it will be at noon Central Time. So
Okay, guys, make sure you're registered. She's got an awesome free gift there to help you accelerate your healing. Check out Cathy and look out for more interviews. Make sure to give us a like, a comment, a share in this. It's all going to support the mission. It's going to help those people, those healing warriors, and that's going to come full circle as well, because this is a powerful community, and we support each other. It's amazing. So
yeah,
let's see everybody there. Until next time, peace. Love you.
love you. Thank you, Lyndon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.